Welcome to the Clear Admit MBA Admissions Academy. I'm Graham Richmond and I'm with Alex Brown. And this lesson is all about how to demonstrate fit with an MBA program that you're targeting. So Alex, let's get into this one. How do you go about convincing the admissions committee that the school's right for you and that how do you demonstrate that you've done your homework?
I mean, that's the key. Have you done your homework? How to demonstrate fit is to show the school that you know exactly what you're sort of getting ready for in terms of going to their MBA program. So that's the big piece of advice. Show that you've done the research and why the school is a great fit for your goals, your plans, what you've done, and so on and so forth. So really, it's going to be demonstrating a fundamental understanding maybe of the curriculum and elements of the curriculum that particularly fit what's interesting to you. It might be the extracurricular activities, maybe there's certain clubs that fit for your sort of career aspirations. It could be a variety of different factors, but really showing that you've done the research.
Agreed. And I think, it's funny, some of the very top schools, there's this rhetoric out there around how you don't need to tell them that you want to go. They know that you want to come. And so they're not interested in you But I actually had a very frank conversation some time ago with the director of admissions at Harvard. And he was saying, look, we use the case method. It's very unique to our program. And he was like, I would be surprised if a candidate came through our process and hadn't, sort of sat in on a case discussion or wasn't enthusiastic about that aspect, because it is very unique to what they do. Obviously, most business schools use cases to some extent, but it's at Harvard, it's almost 100%, right? Yeah. So you got to demonstrate that knowledge. The other thing I think is it can be useful to demonstrate that you've given some thought to your planned path through the program.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, what classes might you take? What clubs might you join? Have you really given this some thought? And there are even, I want to say it's University of Texas at Austin. They have an essay that is all about, you're graduating. Tell us a little bit about how you spent your time here, that kind of thing. And I think that's all about this. It's a great opportunity, right? Demonstrate fit.
Yeah.
So what about your past experiences? Because I know we can talk about how a school has all these resources and things that you want to take advantage of.
Yeah.
But there's also this idea that things that you've done in your past, you'll be bringing to their campus.
Yeah.
So it's a give and take there. So where does that fit into this notion of fit?
Well, I think it's really important because, anyone can go along and say, I want to take these courses, I want to do that, and whoopity-doo, isn't it cool that I've learnt your curriculum and your clubs and whatever? But really, it only makes sense if I can show how my profile and my background fits with what I've learned about your school and your program and so on and so forth. So it has to all work in concert.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how sometimes schools will give you the chance to talk about an opportunity that you want to take advantage of, but you might be able to sort of say, well, I would cherish the opportunity to lead Club X and bring in some of the experience I have at organizing these types of events in the past or whatever it is. So it's a give and take. I think a candidate who just only talks about what they're going to take from the community is not going to be successful. So it's easy for us to talk about all this stuff, but I think giving folks some tactical advice on how to go about gathering the information that would allow them to demonstrate fit, because I think it goes beyond just the websites, right? Yeah. You can look at a school's website, sure, right? But, we talk about attending admissions events, which many of which are virtual, pretty easy to go and do an admissions event. Some of them are in person, even better, going to campus, things like that. What are some other sort of avenues that you can take to learn about a school and get the data that you need to demonstrate fit?
Yeah, I mean, attending events is great. Take it to the next level. Do you know anyone at these schools that you can engage and interact with? So clearly, those that know a lot of MBAs and are surrounded by MBAs in their day-to-day life are at an advantage here, and take the most of that advantage. The schools you're targeting, who do you know at those schools, and really sort of bounce ideas off them, see if they'll become cheerleaders for you in the process and so on and so forth. But more so learn from them, and then you can bring some of that conversation into your content in your applications. Now, if you're non-traditional, you don't have those opportunities, all schools on their websites will have, contacts for the club leaderships in the different clubs that you might want to be involved in or that are related to your career aspirations. So take advantage of that. Go, contact the clubs. See if they will put you in front of folks that will sort of help nurture you through the process. I can't underestimate the value that having contacts at the schools can provide you.
Yeah, and I would argue that, in this day and age, I can't think of a school that doesn't have kind of a formal ambassador program. So as you said, you can go on the website, find the student ambassadors, and they're more than willing to connect with you. So I think the schools are trying to level that playing field so that if you don't happen to know someone at the school, you can connect with someone and make that connection and learn more. What about alumni outreach? Is that should I be talking to graduates of the program and doing that kind of research?
Yeah, exactly. It's just sort of the same thing. Do you know, folks around you? Some of those folks are going to be alums. Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to go crazy and, get a whole list of 100 alums and hit them all up. But yeah, those that genuinely absolutely fantastic. And again, if you aren't afforded that opportunity directly, try to use the school's resources to connect you with alums in your field and so on and so forth, as well as the students and et cetera.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one classic example would be, you're applying to a school on the East Coast, you live somewhere else, you might look at the school's alumni community in your market, because most of these schools will have an alumni club. And again, often on the web, there's the head of that club's name is there with their email. Reach out. They often are more than willing to have a coffee with someone who is a potential candidate for the school. So doing that kind of outreach can be great. I also think it can be really instructive if you're trying to get a sense of the strength of that school's presence in other markets. So it's a kind of a bonus there. But I think demonstrating fit is complicated, but it's really, you can take very concrete steps. As we said, attend events online, talk to current students, maybe talk to alumni as well, and you gradually begin to get almost, kind of make a list of all the things that you're really excited about. I find that doing this type of research often really gets you excited to attend the program, and it's kind of almost a sales process where the school begins to really woo you and win you over as you learn more and more. So it's a great research process, but it will also make for great applications.
Yeah. I'll throw one last thing out there to you, Graham.
Okay.
Because it's not on our script. What about visiting campus?
Yeah, well, obviously, in so much as schools are open for visits, because we've gone through a pandemic and all that stuff, but schools are increasingly open and having people back on campus. And I think going for a visit is, it's an amazing opportunity. If you're able, I don't think there's any expectation on the school's side of things that you're going to come, especially if you live very far away. Of course, if it's in your backyard and you don't go, that would be a bit of a red flag. But in any event, no, I think absolutely visiting is part of it. I think it can be, attending an admissions information session on campus, absolutely.
And your visit could yield a couple of contacts that you can then follow up with, sort of nurture that student connection and so on and so forth that we've just discussed. Yeah,
absolutely. So visiting can be a big piece. I know it's something that, schools are increasingly back in action with. So absolutely. So I think that's a great, we've got how to demonstrate fit. Obviously, we're going to next talk about, I think, something that's equally important in the next lesson. We're going to talk about whether you're overrepresented in the pool or underrepresented in the pool and how that might impact your overall application strategy.